I do want to talk about MJ. When MJ was deciding to come back in 2001, he held it some pickup games, right? You played in one of the pickup games, and from that, MJ walks away with a broken rib. Can you give us any story of how that happened? What happened?
Yeah, the story would have never got out. I always tell the story, but it would have never came out if our good friend, which I don't really know, Sam Smith. I just like to soften things up, you know. But you know, the story came out that I punched Michael Jordan. This is in Chicago Tribune. So Ron Artest punches Michael Jordan. So when that happened, I'm like 19. I'm 20 years old at the time. So I'm devastated. I'm like, yo, the city's gonna hate me. This is my favorite player. You know, I'm an NJ fan. Like people, LeBron fans, are your fans now. Right. So I was devastated. But anyway, what happened was referees in the summertime pickup, like UCLA, but were refs. You know, so they actually called the offensive foul on MJ. So I'm denying MJ, and MJ's strong. And the problem with MJ, I say this all the time, when you let him get the ball, he's gonna get a bucket.
Yeah.
So you can't let him get the ball. And I knew that as a defender, so I'm denying him. And he was holding me, and as he was holding me, I moved his arm out the way. My right elbow caught him in the ribs. And he didn't realize how, I was 19, but I was like, I came into the league 240 plus, right?
You was a grown man then.
So I hit him in the ribs. I see him go, right? So then he goes down. I think we might have missed or made a shot. He comes back down with the ball, little hezzy crossover, free throw line, game over, and then walks off
holding his
court, holding his ribs. But yo, before that, he averaged 25 that year. I think he would average 30 to 35, maybe 32. That he was cooking.
Yeah.
And I felt sick because I wanted to, although I was competing against him, I wanted to see him cook.
Right.
So he had to sit out 3 months and then had to heal. And I feel like if it wasn't for that,
he would have went crazy.
Y'all would have probably saw 30 at night. He was cooking. Yeah, man. But it was unfortunate.
So did you have a conversation with him after it happened?
So I was sick, right? So the story comes out. So I'm home. I'm staying in the bed. I'm not going to my summertime workouts. I'm just sick. I can't move out my bed. So my agent's like, yo, you got to get to practice. Well, you've been missing practice. I said, yo, I'm kind of sad. Like, I broke MJ ribs and the story's out there. So he had MJ call me. And MJ called me and said, hey, don't worry about it, man. Things happen.
Okay, that's cool.
No, you know, and got me like, I said, MJ, sorry, man. I didn't mean to do that. You know?
He didn't give you the death stare?
Nah. Okay. Yeah, man. He did. He actually asked me to come back. And when we was playing, it was like a bunch of guys was in the gym. But he didn't really know who I was until we was on the court. And I was working hard. And he was like, yo, come back every day.
Yeah. He needed that. Yeah, I did.
He said, come back every day.
After that call, though, you would be like, that was MJ.
Yo, yeah, you already know. I felt good.
Another pickup game that you were at was when a 15-year-old LeBron James was playing against a 38-year-old Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Give us some insight on what that looked like. Was LeBron picking up MJ, or just give us a story of that pickup run you were at?
Well, you know, everybody knew who he was. He was already famous. He was bigger than all of us in the gym. So he's coming into the gym. I'm like, all right, cool. I want to see what he got. He was cooking. Like, he was 15 or 16, posting, getting to the basket. And I'm like, this is going to be a huge issue.
Right.
You know, and for sure it was.
3 more years, huh?
3 more years. He right there.
Right.
He actually motivated. When I saw that, it motivated me. I'm like, I got to go to work. I mean, ain't no, he coming in the league cooking. I was not like that at 15.
How old were you at that time?
I'm 5 years older than LeBron.
Okay.
So I was 20.
Okay.
20, then maybe going on 21.
Yeah.
He was 15. He was watching
15. So you knew right away. Yeah.
He could have went pro right then, honestly.
Yeah. Really?
100%.
Was Michael trying to go at him at all? Because Michael must have been aware of who LeBron was. And
I played against LeBron. I think the time I played against, I think he was on Mike's team at one point. But I can't quite remember everything.
Yeah.
One time Barkley played, like I played against Barkley one time, which is crazy. But Antoine Walker, Michael Finley, Jerry Stackhouse, you know, they was all up in the building. Maybe Sam Cassell showed up, you know. But yeah, I don't remember them going at it.
So Chicago, that was in Chicago?
That was in Chicago.
So Chicago had some runs too.
Chicago had some runs. And then when you go like the Drew League of Chicago, Paul McPherson in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gym packed and Paul lit. Those games was like tough, and you know, just like the Drew League.
Yeah,
a little bit more physical though.
A little more physical.
Yeah, a little more physical.
I can see that. A little bit more rowdy, a little bit more physical.
Ain't no punks in Chicago.
They're not playing around up there
at all.
Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason.
You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, and baseball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. All y'all gotta do is make your picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds on PrizePicks.
Download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, go download the app today and use our promo code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Cha-ching!